Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. Before we get started on this video tutorial, I just want to mention to follow me on Instagram at the Sewing Room channel. You're going to get behind the scene photos of current projects I'm working on and little shopping trips that I go on. Now in this video tutorial, we're going to make a mug rug. You're probably thinking, what's a mug rug? It's a small placemat for your coffee or tea and a little light snack. And on this one, I'm going to show you how to draw your own Christmas tree applique pattern. So let's get started. You will need the following fabric for the mug rug. A piece of 3.5 by 6.5 inches for the background where the tree goes. Then you'll need 3 2.5-inch red squares, 3 2.5-inch green squares. For your applique tree, you'll need a piece of fabric approximately 4.5 by 6. You will need, for the back, a piece that is 6.5 by 8.5, as well as cotton batting, 6.5 by 8.5. You'll also need a strip of fabric for the binding that is 2 3/4 inches wide. When you cut out your strip, make sure your selvage edges are folded together and you cut it from the fold line out towards the selvage edges. For the tree applique, I'm using a product by Pellon. It's called Light Easy Steam 2. It's lightweight, two-sided, pressure sensitive, fusible web. There's instructions on the back also, so you will need a package of that if you don't already have it. To make the Christmas tree, you will need a piece of paper that is 3 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Then take that paper and fold it in half. Then you're going to draw some lines on it that looks like a Christmas tree. All right, so place your 1-inch line on the lower edge here and place your 1/2-inch line on the folded paper edge. Take a pencil and draw a line that's 1 inch long. Now, keeping this 1-inch line on the edge, draw a line from here and connect the two pieces. So now you've got two lines that look like that. Now take the paper and up here at the top, put a little mark there about 1/8 inch from the folded edge. Then take your ruler and place it up here on that mark and then down here on the corner of the tree and draw a line. So now you have half of a tree drawn. Now this is a very contemporary tree. You can cut it out just like this if you like, leave it folded and cut it out. Or you have an option for doing something like this. Draw a curved line, so make it curved up here, and you're going to go out and in along the line and make sure you curve down and around this corner here. And then you can cut it out. So you leave your paper in half and cut it out. And this is what the curvy one would look like. Now take the paper template and draw it onto cardstock, because your cardstock is going to be easier to use over and over again because it's much thicker. Then take your fusible web and on the grid line side where the little blue lines are, you're going to trace your tree. Then take your fabric for the tree, and here is the front side of my fabric. Turn the fabric over and you're going to place this on the back of the fabric. So remove the plain paper on the back, make sure you don't lift the glue off, and set it down and finger press it down real good. Then using a small pair of scissors, cut on the drawn lines all the way around. And when you're done, it's going to look like that. Now take your background fabric. Remove the grid line paper now. So, and if you have a problem getting it to come off, take a little straight pin and just score it to help cut the paper. Then as you lift it, again, make sure you're not removing the glue. It's very sticky back here. Then set it down. Now, don't tap it or finger press it down just yet. Keep shifting it around until you get it placed. Once you have it placed where you like it, then finger press it real good. Now, to permanently fuse it onto your background fabric, you will need a hot iron set to cotton, and preferably a steam iron, and also a damp cloth. So dampen your cloth and place it over your tree. And then making sure your cloth is damp. I usually keep a spray bottle at my machine, and that's how I dampen it. Then set your hot iron set to cotton and hold it down there. Give it a little burst of steam. Hold it down there for 10 to 15 seconds, or whatever the directions say on your product, and then remove it. Now, if you had any problems getting it to stick, it didn't quite adhere everywhere, then just re-dampen your cloth again. Press and hold this down in those areas that did not adhere, and just put it down there and reapply again. The last step is to do your applique stitches around the edge of the tree. Before you start stitching, you want to place some thin paper behind it, or tearaway stabilizer. You can purchase the tearaway stabilizers at Joann Fabric and Crafts. You can even go on the internet like Amazon and purchase it there also. I use this really thin paper that comes on a roll like this. You can get it in the paint department at a hardware store. I purchased mine at Home Depot. Painters use it to mask off areas, but make sure you select the thin paper. Also, on your sewing machine, I recommend you use an open toe presser foot, because you can see in that space right there exactly where you are stitching. As far as your stitches go, I recommend you use a medium medium satin stitch around the edges. If you don't have a satin stitch on your machine, you could use a small zigzag stitch, or if you have other decorative stitching, do a sample of it on scrap fabric first before you actually do it on your tree. Then go ahead and stitch it all around the edges. Then remove the paper or tearaway stabilizer off of the back. Now take your squares, your red and green squares, and bring front sides together and stitch 1/4 inch along here, and then have the red side of your fabric facing up on the back, and go to your ironing board and press on the back side, all three of them. Then open them all up and press on the front, pushing this seam towards the dark fabric, the red. Then place them like this. Open it up, and you're going to alternate green, red, red, green, and then the last one here like that. Now you want to take two of them and bring front sides together and match up those seams. Make sure the seam on the bottom is going in the opposite direction than the one on top. Go ahead and place a pin to hold that seam, and then you can also go ahead and pin the other two sides. Then stitch 1/4 inch along here, and then open it up and do the same thing with the other one. Bring that one on top, match that seam up, place a pin, and stitch 1/4 inch. After you've stitched all your squares together, then press the last two seams. Always press your seams on the back side to flatten them out, and then unfold it and press on top. And this is what it looks like. I have all my seams, the last two going in the same direction. Then turn it front side up. Take your tree and have it front side up, and then bring the two sides together. And then go ahead and stitch 1/4 inch seam right along there. Then press on the back side, and then when you unfold it, press the seam on top, but push this seam towards the checkerboard side. Now you want to layer all 3 pieces. So take your fabric for the back, and you're going to have the front side of the fabric facing down. So now I'm looking at the back of the fabric. Then lay down your cotton batting and then your top piece. Then scatter pins around to hold the fabric in place while you do your top stitching. So you're going to stitch in the ditch. That's where 2 pieces of fabric come together. Stitch right in that ditch across here and across here and here, and don't forget here. Then over on this side, make sure you use the same thread that you used for your decorative stitching. And you're going to stitch real close to that stitching all the way around, all on the outside. And then you're done with your top stitching. Now the last step is to put the binding around the edges. And if you've never done binding before, I'm going to give you a link to a video of mine that'll show you how to put this binding on. It's very detailed, step-by-step instructions on how to do it. So click on that link if you need help with that. Now here is the mug rug on the back, and then here it is again on the front. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. I also want to mention that I have other mug rug tutorials and also placemats that you can also do. So make sure you check below the YouTube screen for those video links. Thanks for watching and happy sewing! I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, would you please click on the thumbs up button, and don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And don't forget to click on the bell and enter your email address so you receive email notifications about my latest video. I'm Cheryl and this is Manny. See you next time and happy sewing!